Alright, what's going on, guys? I just want to do some real talk about plantar fasciitis. This is one of my worst nemesis injuries. I had this one before the 2012 Olympic trials, and really this is the kind of where things began to unravel for me. So I want to talk a little bit about how to handle plantar fasciitis, and yeah, kind of give you guys my best advice for that. And I have Tiny Tim here just to keep us company and to make you feel better about your plantar fasciitis. So you can just cuddle with the puppy if you're currently battling plantar fasciitis. So anyways, so plantar fasciitis, first of all, like recognizing that you have it, it's pretty easy. Your pain that you're going to be feeling is just going to be right here on the bottom of your heel. It's going to be especially bad in the morning, especially when you get up, you take those first steps. It is something where it does kind of like warm up a little bit as you're out running on it. It's going to be worse early on, and the pain might dissipate a little bit depending on how severe it is, right? And you can actually, your plantar fascia runs along your foot like that, and comes through the middle down here and attaches here. So usually you feel it right in your heel, and you can actually rupture this, which is actually not a terrible thing. If that happens to you, you'll notice you get really black and blue in here, but that's when they do surgery for plantar fasciitis. That's what they do, is they actually just cut it and then wait for it to heal. So not necessarily a terrible thing if that ruptures in there. So here's my best advice for plantar fasciitis, and this was actually something I heard from this old-time runner when I was trying all the different treatments that I could think to try to get a handle on my plantar fasciitis. And I remember I sat down in this clinic and I was on a table waiting to get like laser or stem or some type of therapy on my foot. And I remember this guy, he's probably like 65 or 70, been running a long time, and he's like, listen, he's like, the best piece of advice for plantar fasciitis is it's gonna hurt and it's gonna get better. And that actually really helped me a ton, because the thing with plantar fasciitis is it's just constantly on your mind. It's so daily. It's like that first step every morning you wake up and take a step and you're just like, oh, this is killing me, and it can be super emotionally taxing. And then you're trying all these different things to try to make it better, which I'm gonna talk more about that in a second here, and nothing is working, and it can just be really emotionally like hard to handle. So it helped me to just come to terms with, hey, like this is gonna hurt for a while. Like this is not something that where it's probably gonna get better in a week or 2 weeks. Like I need to have a long-term perspective here and realize that it's okay if it's just gonna hurt for a while. So the mistake that I made with my plantar fasciitis, and I didn't really have a choice with it because I was training for the Olympic trials, and then I was training for the Olympic Games, and so I had to just run through it. And so I had some compensation issues that developed because I was experiencing pain every single time my foot was hitting the ground. So it is important that you keep your stride as clean and even as it was before the plantar fasciitis. So taking time off is not necessarily the solution to plantar fasciitis, but you also don't want to do too much running through it. So what I'd recommend with plantar fasciitis is doing as much strengthening as you can and waiting for it to get better. Getting blood flow going through there I think is super important, but not returning fully to running until you're not feeling it anymore, because as long as you're feeling pain, there's most likely going to be just a very small compensation going on in your stride, and that compensation is going to cause other injuries. So we don't want to start a string of injuries that's just going to snowball out of control, similar to what happened to me, and starting with my plantar fasciitis and lasting 4 years until I retired. So really important that I think you rely heavily on cross training when you have plantar fasciitis, and you're also proactive with the treatment of it as well. Tiny Tim, do you have anything to add to that? He's just hurting for you right now. He's feeling your pain. He doesn't like plantar fasciitis at all. Huh, Tiny Tim. How much does plantar fasciitis suck? It's just no fun, huh, buddy? It's just no fun. I hate it. suck it. Your mommy makes you feel better. Yeah. Alright, so let's talk about how to actually like treat your plantar fasciitis. So here's my thing with plantar fasciitis is you'll talk to a lot of different runners and they all have different theories about things that will definitely cure plantar fasciitis. What I find, it's usually like whatever the person did last before it was essentially going to get better anyways. Alright, so let's talk about some of the things that people swear by with plantar fasciitis that they swear will cure you. I've tried like all those things, and here's my theory on those like for sure gonna help, you know, fix your plantar fasciitis. My take on it is like whatever they were doing last, right before it was gonna get better anyways, because like I said, it's one of those things where it's gonna hurt for a while and then eventually it's gonna get better. So whatever they were doing at the end of that, when it was already gonna get better, like they think this is the thing that made it better, when I think in actuality like it was just gonna get better. Because I've tried so many of those things that people swear by. You know, you see those ads, infomercials like have plantar fasciitis, like this is gonna fix you 100% guaranteed. Like I tried all those things and none of that stuff worked. And I think that's been a pretty common theme I've seen with other athletes that I know have had plantar fasciitis. But I don't think that doesn't mean you don't try it. Like the only thing you have to lose is paying money for a product that may or may not work. But until you try it, you really don't know for sure. You know, because some people seem to have success with these things. But one of the things you see a lot of with plantar fasciitis is that night sock. So it's basically a sock that keeps your foot in this position so you can't go like that when you're sleeping. So it keeps it flexed up. And you will notice with that night sock, number one, it's a pain in the butt to sleep with. It's pretty uncomfortable, so it can affect your sleep quality. But you will notice that it does feel better when you get up out of bed, and your first step out of bed will feel a little bit better. But I didn't notice it actually helping later on in the day when I was going for my run. Like I felt zero relief from symptoms from that sock. But again, you know, you don't have to take my word for it. Feel free to try it if you want, but that was my experience with it. I think the go-to, you know, other things that people do, stim, some people swear by wrapping it, orthotics. I think orthotics maybe has a higher likelihood of being helpful, but I get a little bit leery of orthotics oftentimes because it's like putting anytime you add stabilization or like a splint, you're taking away your body's ability to be able to stabilize it itself. So you're kind of like de-strengthening the area. So we kind of want to do the opposite of that. But again, it can be something you play with. Try an orthotic. If it gives you relief, then, you know, keep going with it. I tried orthotics. I tried orthotic sandals. And again, like I felt a little bit of relief just walking around on it, but I didn't necessarily feel relief when I ran. But I have talked to runners who orthotics did help for plantar fasciitis. So again, you can try that if you want. But what I do know helps with most injuries is strengthening. And so anything we can do to strengthen the bottom of your foot is going to be super helpful. Not only that, I think strengthening your whole lower leg with plantar fasciitis is pretty important. So I have other videos on how to strengthen your feet and your ankles. So I definitely recommend checking out that video. I'm doing that foot and strengthening stuff. Stretching in there. You know, I have a slant board here. That's one of my favorite ways to kind of stretch. The stretch is not only your calf, your Achilles, but also your foot as well. So you know, these slant boards are nice, but you can do this on, you know, any type of surface that is the right grade here. So you don't necessarily have to have a slant board. You can do a straight leg, do a bent leg, you can do single leg, you can do double leg. Just hit it kind of a variety of different ways. Again, the biggest thing we're trying to get going is blood flow through there. So doing the foot strengthening exercises, I think, is really effective with plantar fasciitis. You can try wrapping it up like my dad had it, and he swore by wrapping it with duct tape. It seemed to work for him. So if you want to try the old duct tape wrap job, that's definitely old school, but hey, might work. Give it a try. The price point is right anyways. One thing that I think is probably the most effective form of treatment for plantar fasciitis is shockwave therapy. You can just Google shockwave therapy and find like a provider near you. Chiropractors often have these machines. It's basically like a jackhammer. Hurts like crazy. It looks like a little gun, and it's just like jackhammer into that spot in the bottom of your heel. And that's a series of, usually it's a series of 10 treatments spread out by 1 week. And I did feel kind of immediate relief from that, especially after my first couple sessions. It took like 3 or 4 sessions, and I started noticing I felt better on my run, less pain. It wasn't one of those things where poof, it's gone, but it gradually got better and better. So that is the one therapy. I would say if you're gonna go after it and really try and get your plantar fasciitis better, shockwave therapy is probably the best therapy, in my opinion, that you could do for it, above and beyond strengthening and stretching. Icing is obviously a good thing to do in that. I'd recommend doing contrast baths with your foot. Again, just trying to get blood flow in and out of there to promote healing, because blood flow, that's like the game changer when it comes to recovery, right? And the problem is in the bottom of your foot, in that area, you don't get a lot of blood flow. So that's why it's really important that you just don't let it sit and just do nothing for it. Otherwise, you're gonna see ultra slow improvement, if any improvement at all on that. So really important we get blood flow. So what I like to do is ice cups. And I have another video on ice cupping that you can check out. But you're gonna take an ice cup and just ice all, not only on the heel region, but all up and down your foot for 12 minutes, 3 times a day. But ideally, you do like a contrast, like I was saying, ice cup for 5 or 6 minutes, and then go straight into like, not blazing hot, but like, I don't know, probably like 95-degree temperature water for 5 minutes, and then go straight back to ice cupping and just do 3 rounds, so about 5 minutes in each one. And so, you know, it's taking you 30 minutes. Do that in the morning and then in the evening, just try and get that blood flow going through there. Besides that, I'm trying to think if I'm missing anything. Self-massage with plantar fasciitis, golf ball. I think that's gonna be the best thing. You want something small and really hard. So you can also do this with icing, like a, I don't know what you freeze it would be. Oh yeah, my dad, he would do like those juice containers, those round juice containers, and he'd ice his foot with those. But yeah, massage, self-massage in there, I think is a really good thing to do. So again, just finding those areas where it's really tight and sitting right on them. And getting all the way down into your heel. So golf ball, self-massage. You can also just do self-massage with your own, you know, thumbs, and get in there a little bit. Should help. Again, that's massage is getting blood flow in there, so any kind of massage work is going to be good as well. So I really encourage you, you know, don't get too caught up in all the little trinkets, all the little things people are selling that they swear by fix plantar fasciitis. I'd really focus on strengthening, stretching, icing, and getting blood flow into that area. And if you are going to do therapy, I'd recommend shockwave therapy. So, but at the end of the day, remember guys, with plantar fasciitis, like, it's okay, it's gonna hurt for a while, and then eventually, like, it will get better, but it's an injury that really requires a lot of patience, and if you're smart with it, it's gonna require some cross-training while you're waiting for it to get better. But I think the more blood flow you can get in there, it's just gonna speed that recovery process, and you won't have to wait as long as if you do nothing. So I hope that's helpful, guys.